Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest, and welcome to another answer and reply video. Could have called this series Q&A, questions and answers, but quite a few of your comments are not in a question format, and I do want to discuss them. Hence, answer and reply. Now, I am about 3 weeks behind, and the problem I am facing is my videos now a little bit more popular, particularly the ASX Daily Rundown videos are getting about 900 to 1,000 views, each of those. So before I was doing these ASX Daily Rundown videos, some of my videos were only getting 100 to 200 views. So getting a few more comments, few more questions to reply to. So I think I do have to be a little bit more selective. So let's get stuck into it. Let's go back 3 weeks ago. A question here from ASong652, a very pertinent question, particularly because we're in the new financial year. Well, we're almost 2 months into new financial year. Can't believe that. Anyway, so his question, just wonder, how do you keep track of all your share transactions, dividends, and CGT? As I understand, you have a very few diversified portfolios. What do you do for regular bookkeeping to make your tax time less a headache? Thanks so much in advance. And yes, there are a few things, platforms, sites you can use. ShareSite is one, which I do use. I'm able to have 4 portfolios or track portfolios, 4 portfolios in my subscription with a ShareSite. And the other one is Navexa. Now, in fact, I'm pretty sure if you just put in ShareSite, or it should say Navexa. Oh, look, there is Navexa versus ShareSite. So I have not used Navexa. Maybe I tried it out once many, many years ago, but I do use ShareSite now. But I'd love to hear your opinion. If you do use Navexa over ShareSite, maybe you've tried both of them and you do prefer Navexa, I'd love to hear your opinion. In fact, we would love to hear your opinion. So leave your thoughts in the comment section of this particular video, Navexa versus ShareSite. So those are 2 things or 2 platforms you can use. You do have to pay for them. I'm pretty sure there is a free version of ShareSite, but it's quite limited. And there's a sort of a tiered subscription thingy, whatever you want to call it. And I'm on the one just above the free version. So I have access to 4 portfolios. And it does everything. It does everything you want it to do. And also you can automatically transfer all your trades into ShareSite by some mechanism, whatever that is. Anyway, so thank you for that question, ASong6524. David Race has something interesting. So again, no question here. Talking about the economy in New Zealand, it's really slow right now. I'm pretty sure it's probably going backwards. I would even say Australian economy is going backwards right now. Sure, our GDP is going up, but because of immigration, GDP per capita has actually been going down. Huge migration to Australia, high cost of living, house prices down. I don't imagine interest rates going up here. That's probably true. I'd say that's probably true for most countries in the world. In fact, we are now starting to see interest rates going down. You could say the sky is falling. I'm really intrigued by what's going to happen over the next few decades, particularly when it comes to housing. Housing is really interesting. I saw an article about Japan, how they got 1 million houses there that are empty because the population there is just going down. And of course, Japan doesn't have much of an immigration policy. It's just their culture, that sort of thing. And my biggest concern is the rate of housing, the price of housing is going up at a greater rate than wages. It's probably been happening like that for maybe 30, 40 years. And that's not sustainable. Technically, housing should go at the same rate as wages, because if it doesn't, that means housing eventually becomes unattainable for the younger generations. And if that happens, you will see civil unrest. And we are heading towards that direction. And the problem is a lot of our politicians cater for the older generations, and they want to maintain higher housing prices. In fact, they want housing prices to even accelerate, if anything. So we're not really catering for not only the younger generations now, but also the younger generations in the future. Those generations that haven't been born yet. And eventually, crap is going to hit the fan. I'm almost certain that's going to happen, or otherwise we're going to end up like the Middle Ages when only the rich owned property. And I think that would be a really bad way to go. So I think eventually something has to happen. And one of the problems, one of the reasons this has happened is we now view property as investments. And I think that's the wrong way to do it. We should not view property as investments. I believe property or somewhere to live is a human right. And now we're viewing property as an investment. And it's a bad investment when you think it's unproductive. It doesn't produce anything. The best sort of investments are putting money into something that actually produces something for the economy. So even like investing in the stock market's not the best investment if you really dig deep into it. But housing, we've just gone in the wrong direction, in my opinion, over the past 30, 40 years, believing that housing is an investment. And that's the wrong direction to go down, in my opinion. So thank you, David Race. ASX Investor 4216. My opinion on Bravura is that the management is doing capital returns to give assurance to investors about the state of the economy. Of the company, not the economy. They can't do anything about the economy. Okay. But this is not particularly on Bravura. I went to Hot Copper, and I just wanted to see the sort of the sentiment around this one company called Brookside. And the sentiment in this company is just horrible, so negative. And I do think the company is really cheap. And there was one comment saying that the management should be focusing on the share price. And no, they should not be. Management should not be caring about the share price at all. They should be caring about the performance of the company. And if the company performs over time, the share price will adjust over time. So there's too many people, I think, who believe one of the main aims of the management of a company should be focusing on the share price. No, that's actually not right. So I believe management should be mostly focusing on the performance of the company. They shouldn't be caring about the share price because the share price can be quite up and down. There's a lot of noise there. And that is one of the problems about a company being listed on the equity markets or the publicly listed company, is because there's so much focus on the share price. And a lot of times the focus should be not on the share price, it should be on the performance of the company. So maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're saying to the market, hey, we're doing well. We're doing better than we thought. We're doing better than what you thought. And that's why we're doing the capital return. I don't know. It's working actually at the moment. So I did take a trading position in Bravura. Here we go, Bravura. And I forget why, but chart looks pretty good. There it is, me taking the position at $1.26.5. And this was on the back of their results. I didn't think they were that great, but the market thought differently. Anyway, and if you look at the weekly chart, there is a possible turnaround for this company. Share price back in 2019 went to a high of 625, and right now the share price is well off that. So possible turnaround for Bravura. It does look promising, but I'm not quite there saying, yes, it's definitely moving in the right direction. I think it is promising, but I'm not quite there yet with Bravura. James loves ASL and PCL. In fact, ASL is Andean mine, and let's have a look. ASL is Andean mine, or Andean silver, sorry, up 8.9%, and PCL is when you go sick. That's for my work. It's called PCL. I forget what it's called. Something leave, personal carers leave. Yeah. Share price down 6.25% for Pancontinental. I've never heard of it. Well, I might have heard this company in passing, but I've never looked at this company. Let's just focus on Pancontinental Energy. Now, first thing is I'm not that interested in mining companies. I don't think mining companies are long-term holds. Some mining companies absolutely hit it out the park. Fortescue is a great example. But over time, the majority of mining companies are not good long-term investments because they are cyclical, significantly cyclical. There was a price and volume query for this company back on the 23rd of July. Let's have a look at their pennies 5B. And I'm even less interested in exploring companies. So this Pancontinental Energy is exploring company. Are they going to make it? Are they going to be bringing any revenue in the next 5 years? I have no idea. No idea with Pancontinental. So let's have a look at the chart. And this will tell you a lot. I'll be honest with you, the chart actually doesn't look that bad. There is a bit of a turnaround, and that turnaround happened, although that's a weekly chart. So yeah, the weekly chart shows, or the daily chart shows you the share price really starting to take off in the middle of 2022, or start of 2022, when the share price was 0.1 cents. Now it's 1.6 cents. That's the other thing. Share price is fairly low. Was high as 2.8 cents not that long ago. Now it's 1.6 cents. And in fact, if I have a look at the daily chart, it does starting to look a little bit weak for Pancontinental. I'm assuming this is oil. Assuming it's oil. Again, I think the most important thing about these type of companies is your conviction. How confident are you on these companies, which probably includes the management? I would have a very little conviction about these companies. So it's all about your own conviction. And it's very hard for you to not share your conviction. It's very hard for you to, I don't know how to put this. It's very hard for you to really, I was going to say share your conviction, but you can share your conviction, but whether I believe or whether I can develop that own conviction myself is much harder. So I'm not sure how the best way to say that is. So yeah, they're talking about mining stuff or drilling stuff. It's probably way over my head, that sort of thing. How much cash? Looks like they're talking about Namibia here. So they have, in fact, if you go to the about section, they should have an about section here somewhere. Talking about oil, looks like oil. Hydrocarbon discoveries, yep, oil, yeah. And the other one was silver. I won't have a look at the NX5B for Andean, just have a look at the chart. Andean silver, I'm pretty sure this chart looks pretty good. Yeah, this chart looks pretty good. Nice volume increase since February. Share price has gone from 24 cents to 85 cents. A bit of a dip. But again, I think this is following silver prices. Not exactly, but this is another case of why do you have this conviction around this company? How high is the conviction? My conviction would be fairly low. What triggered your high conviction in this company? Was it management? Was it discovery? That sort of thing. So anyway, you can share your thoughts about the company. You can give your recommendations, but the biggest thing I have, the most important thing I can say about these companies is your conviction. And by far, your conviction is going to be significantly higher than my own conviction. James Dean died in 1955. James Dean died in 1955. It was definitely around then. I thought maybe it was 1954. 1955. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was only 24 years old. Ooh. What was he? He starred in 3 films. James Dean starred in 3 films, and he was nominated for Oscar in 2 of them, I believe. Well, he was uncredited in quite a few films, but yeah, East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant. And yeah, 2 of them were released posthumously. I've seen him in 2 of these movies. No, maybe 3. He's actually a pretty good actor. But yeah, I think one of the reasons there is this mythology around James Dean is because he was, I'd say, a little bit of a sex symbol, maybe, and his name was easy to rhyme with. So you see a lot of James Dean mentioned in songs because Dean rhymes with everything. He just has this mythology around him because he died when he was 24 years old. Interesting. Anyway, this video is not about James Dean. This is about, or this particular part of the video is about Promedicus. Over 200 PE will be a long time to get our money back, unless it grows significantly. Unless it grows significantly. If the company doubles, or maybe not doubles, if the company increases profit by 50% over the next 10 years, then that's the way you get your money back. Now, I have been thinking about taking profits in Promedicus, and they released their results recently, and the share price has, or is right on an all-time high. So again, this one, if you look at the valuation, you go, this company is so overvalued. But when they do release their results, or just release their results, share price popped up because the results were pretty good. But it's one of those hard ones where you just look at the valuation and go, wow, it is so overvalued. I'm still thinking about taking profits, but just don't know. And I still think if there's a big correction in the markets, if we go into recession, Promedicus share price will decrease a lot, even though they're still hitting it out the park. Their performance still, doing wonderfully well. It's the valuation. And I just remember Microsoft got to extreme valuations back in 2000, 2001. Share price went sideways for 15 years. Company did really well, grew during that 15-year period, but the PE ratio pulled back or multiple contraction, went through a period of multiple contraction where the market was less and less willing to pay a premium for the company. And that's why Microsoft went sideways for many, many years. The company performed, company grew. Let's have a look at Microsoft over that 15-year period. I'm pretty sure it was like 2000 to 2014, something like that. Yep, here it is. Yep, so they went up, went to a high of $60 back in the tech bubble, pulled back to, we'll say about $26 in 2000, 2001, and went sideways. And then it broke out in 2013. So about 13 years, 12, 13 years, share price just went sideways. But during that period, Microsoft grew. It didn't go backwards. It was performing. And the reason behind that was because it got so overvalued back in 1999 and 2000. And then look at that chart. Not going to say this is going to happen with Promedicus, but it could. It could happen to all those companies who have a high PE. And in saying that, Wisetech, I would say Wisetech is significantly overvalued. And what happened? Share price during the week rose 28% on the back of their results. Again, this company has a pretty high PE. I'm just going to verify that. PE of 152. I think this company is overvalued, but and I have been thinking about taking profits with this one. I'm glad I didn't. Yep. Kirat Singh says Dow and Nasdaq down. Oh, 2nd of August. This was 3 days before the big down day in Australia. Correction phase has started. I expect this month to be choppy, but this was bound to happen. Markets have been on a bull run since October 2023. I'd pay close attention to stocks that held up well during this phase, showing clear strength. I'd probably agree with that. Some good opportunities should pop up to deploy cash. Those good opportunities occurred 3 days later. Well, one trading day later. In fact, we've just seen the Nasdaq up again significantly overnight. It was up about 1.4%, 1.2%. So there it is. The bottom was on the 5th of August. And since then, it's rallied pretty nicely. Hasn't got to the highs we saw back in July, though. So we need to see the Nasdaq get back up to those highs for me to confirm this is still an uptrend. Nice bounce, but this could be just a little bit of a bounce, because the whole reason Nasdaq fell is because of weak economic numbers or data in the United States. So some of those fears have now lessened, but they could return in the next few weeks. And if we don't see the Nasdaq get back up to those old highs, not that old, we're talking about the 11th or 10th of July, that could be a sign that the Nasdaq is starting to roll over. And that could be the start of a downtrend or even a bear market for the Nasdaq. Not there yet. It has to prove that to me. But we have seen this sort of action in the past. If you go all the way back, maybe not here. This was back in late 2021. Oh, sort of. So an uptrend. It pulled back in December. It started to rally in late December, but the rally didn't get above the previous highs, and then it started to fall. That was a sign. And I think even at the start of all bear markets, you see similar action. Let's go all the way back to 2007 and 8. Well, we're still going back. Yep. So in fact, the Nasdaq didn't just drop during the GFC. It took a while for it to drop. So the first signs was actually back in late 2007, November 2007. Got to a high on the 31st of October. There was a bit of a weak period. Then it rallied again, but didn't get up to nowhere near the highs. And then there was a lot of weakness in the start of 2008. There was a nice rally, say March through to June 2008. But again, the highs didn't get up to the previous highs. And then we had 4 successive lows in a row. So that's a good sign that something was weak in the market. And then it just collapsed in late 2008. And we all know why. So it doesn't, when the market collapses, moves into bad market, it just doesn't happen instantaneously or straight away, like we saw during the COVID-19 financial panic. It can take time. So you do have plenty of time And it is hard to time the market. I do have to admit that. But just because it's impossible to exactly time the bottom and the top doesn't mean you can't time the market. It is hard, but you can time it. I don't believe those people who say you can't time the market. I believe that's wrong. You can time it. What you fan with? It's a little fan on the roof. You can see it there. It's, I don't know what you call it, but that's what I fan with. Also have a fan. Well, I actually don't use a fan otherwise. I love these fans. I'm not a big fan of air conditioning, and these fans, roof fans, I suppose that's what you call them. They're pretty good. That's what I fan with. I don't like those fans you just wave in front of your face. No. Okay, I'm not sure what that question actually is in relation to, but I don't know. Simon PT, can you do a video on some water stocks? I nominate Dem or Dem. Is it Demem? Demem or something like that. Demem. Demem. And versus Visan as a theme. Both companies had very positive recent updates. Dem's operating cash flows were almost break even in the last Appendix 4C. I think water as a commodity is underappreciated. Yes, I was going to say Michael Beery at the end of, what was it, the end of The Big Short mentioned water. Well, he didn't mention it, just mentioned on the screen. I think water as a commodity is underappreciated. It may not be imminent, but water will be in the next 2 to 3 years live up to its true value, in my opinion. So it's time to get in now. As Michael Burry once said, I may have been early, but I'm not wrong. That happens to me a lot. I am sometimes way too early, so maybe I could say that too. That happened with me with uranium and lithium. I was way too early to both of those, but I wasn't wrong. Just way too early. I like Visan. I don't know much about Demem, but I do like Visan. Visan just released their results. I have nothing to complain about Visan. They're in the right space. Share price dipped a little bit. Not sure why. Went to a low of 34.5 cents. People are stupid selling on that. Everything's going to plan with Visan. I also like SciDev, Science Development, SDV. That is also in the same sort of space. SciDev. Chart looks pretty good. Their Appendix 4C was really nice. In fact, I would call this company a water solutions company. What do they call themselves? Oh, they would call them a leader in environmental solutions focused on water-intensive industries. Yeah, I still call them a water solutions company. They solutions allow clients to reuse water, improve operational efficiencies, and reduce their environmental footprint. So I like that company. I like Visan. I don't know a lot about Demem. So this is probably one company I'd have to look at. Let's have a look at the most recent Appendix 4C. How do they describe themselves as? Nice increase in cash receipts going back 5 years. That's exactly what I want to see. And they call themselves international decentralized water and wastewater treatment business that designs, builds, owns, and operates turnkey water and wastewater treatment systems for some of the world's largest companies. Yeah. So Demem is in that same field. Let's have a look at the chart of all three companies. So I know Visan and SciDev's charts look pretty good. So I've been a holder of Visan for a while now. So chart looks pretty good. SciDev finally looks pretty good as well. Their last Appendix 4C was pretty good. So their chart looks pretty good. And Demem, let's have a look. This is probably the only one I don't know. And that's probably why I don't know. Not quite there for me with Demem, but definitely, what's the market? 39 million. I reckon this company should be on my radar. Let's just have a quick look. $7 million receipts, and very close to being operating cash flow positive and free cash flow positive. Very close. It's almost at that inflection point. I would like to take a closer look at Demem and focus more on the chart. And if I start to see the share price starting to rally, it's possibly getting there, getting close now. If the share price gets above 14.5 cents on strength, that would be a good sign for Demem. I'm actually going to put this company on my watch list. I have it into my watch list, Pennies 4Cs and IT tech and software. In fact, it should be in my environmental. I have environmental, agriculture and environmental watch list. I'm going to change that and then put it there. I'm going to take it out of Appendix 4C and just leave it in agriculture and environment. And I'm going to put it in my other watch list that I look at all the time. So thank you, Simon PT. Fantastico says, why is Domino's Pizzas down 10% on no news? less pizza upon recession. I have a feeling I discussed that. Let's just have a look at the chart for Domino's. They've also released their results recently, and I think I sort of tried to discuss it. Yeah, there it is. On the 2nd of August, share price dived 9%. Has actually recovered since then, but share price of Domino's is still in a downtrend. And still has to prove to me in the market that the bad times have come to an end. And this sort of space, QSR restaurants, are struggling. We just saw that with Collins Food the other day. They released a profit downgrade. Moz Burger have decided to shut up shop in Australia. So it's a tough business, QSR, and Domino's Pizza is finding that out right now. They did mention, I did see a little bit of marketing from them talking about their burger pizza. My two favorite foods, pizzas and burgers. And I did someone say their burger pizzas taste like burgers. I'm like, oh, but I have a bad feeling because I don't like pickles at all. I have a bad feeling that the burger pizza probably tastes a lot like, has a lot of pickles on it, and pickles are not for me. We're all different. I know some of you probably love pickles. I hate pickles. I hate beetroot on burgers. I hate egg on burgers. I'm very specific when it comes to burgers. And no beetroot, no pickles. Anyway, so Domino's Pizza. When I look at the chart, I say no. There was a period here where the share price went up about 10 days in a row, but not for me. I'm not sure what happened because the company didn't release anything. I can't remember on that date, the 2nd of August. The company released nothing. So I'm not sure. I can't remember if I did find out what happened, but my memory is pretty bad. So thank you, Fantastico. Raven said Broncos having a shocker too. Pretty sure that's Brisbane Broncos. They did defeat my team last night, the Eels. The Eels were up 16-0 at one point, and the Eels are heading towards Wooden Spoon, but that's okay because they do have a good team, some good players, but let's not talk about sport. Anyway, Map 0v0 Brainchip. The shorters knew about the capital raising. My question was before the capital raising was announced, okay? I can't remember what the question was. Again, memory is shot. James D died in 1955. Thank you, Mr. Kneppy, for sharing your setup. Most impressive. Actually met Mr. Guppy almost 30 years ago before he was famous. Even back then, the handlebar moustache was impressive. Yeah, I've got his. I do actually have a picture of his face in my mind, and yeah, that moustache is the prominent feature. Let's have a look. Let's Google his name, Daryl Guppy. There it is. Images. Yep. And for some reason, when I picture his face, I just see the moustache. Anyway, Daryl Guppy. I have read his book, and I want to reread it again because I read his book many, many years ago when I first started learning about technical analysis. So I think I could right now take a lot more out of it. So the Guppy multiple moving average. Anyway, thank you for that. James D died in 1955. That was 68 years ago. No, 69 years ago. What was the injury? I'm talking machine. This is really interesting. Okay, so I've had a little bit of back problems. So back in February, I went for a run and I had a bad back. And I thought, I could push through it. It wasn't a debilitating bad or back injury that didn't stop me from running. So this was a long run because I was preparing for a marathon. And about 10 kilometers into the run, the back injury went away. And then all of a sudden, my legs started hurting. And then it got worse and worse. And that was the injury. It was, I forget what you call it. Oh, geez, I can't remember. The sort of the area between where your body and your leg starts, wherever that's called. I forget. Pressure is on me right now. And what I found the other day, so it's getting better. So I can go for runs now. So I went for a 5K run this morning, fairly slow because I wasn't running for a long time. But what I found really interesting, a few weeks ago, I had another back issue and I went for a run, a 10K run, and my leg was fine. Then my back issue went away and all of a sudden my leg flared up again. And it's like there's the pain transfers from my back to my leg. So when my back's fine, my leg hurts. When my back hurts, my leg's fine. Today was the first time where I've gone, ooh, both are okay. So something to do with my leg injury. upper leg injury. The pressure has got to me, and not thigh, not thigh. Oh, anyway, somewhere up there. It's a slow to heal injury in the leg. Slow to heal. I bet you it's going to pop up. Not. It's not thigh. Why are you coming up with thighs? It's not thigh. Abductor. Abductor. Something to do with the abductor. Yeah, that's it. Something to do with that. Anyway. Crypto 24/7. Yes. Crypto's open 24/7. In fact, just noticed, I was going through some charts. I'm up to mining services, and I went through some of the charts in my markets, and I noticed Bitcoin and Ethereum were up big, up 6.2%. A lot of commodities were up pretty big as well. Gold had a good day. Copper's had a good day. Oil's had a good day. Silver's up. Russell 2000 up 3.2%. Ooh, I should leave this to tomorrow's technical update video, but crypto is open 24/7. David Gillip says, healthy body, healthy mind. Does it go healthy body to leads to a healthy mind? Can it be healthy mind that leads to a healthy body? I actually think that plays a part too. If you have a healthy mind, you probably are in the headspace that you can produce a healthy body because you're probably going to be exercising, that sort of thing. So maybe they go hand in hand, but I do believe healthy body and healthy mind. And I also believe healthy body is vitally important when you're a shift worker. It made a massive difference when I became fit because I wasn't as fit when I first started shift work. And then when I started running, that sort of thing, it helps. I have no problems with shift work. And one of the reasons I have no problems with shift work, in my opinion, is, well, one of the reasons is I have no stress in life, and that's very important. When you have no stress in life, it is great. You go to sleep easily, plus a healthy body, very fit. Used to be much more fit than I am now, but I hope to get back up to those fitness levels. Keep moving as much as possible. Yes, used to do heaps of track running, then had sciatic nerve pain to deal with. Stay healthy, stay wealthy. Yes. Okay. Ryan Hillman, I'm the guy that suggested EPY. I was listening to your talk about running. Have you seen the YouTube channel Renaissance Periodization? I could say no, I have not heard of that at all. What is that about? Oh, to get as many people as possible into the shape of their lives. I would be very pro that. I believe, this is my opinion again, there are two things that should be taught in school. Financial education is vitally important, but also health is vitally important. I think those two things should be taught throughout primary school and health school because what the guys say, stay healthy, stay wealthy. Those are very two important things for when you become an adult. You need to know financial stuff and also how to remain healthy. A lot of kids have no idea how to do that, and I think that's very important, and it will save the country a lot of money. But the government doesn't want us to get any financial education because they want us to spend. And if you are financially educated, you're less likely to spend. I actually know that for a fact. And a lot of people I know who are very financially illiterate spend like there's nothing else. And I'm like, don't spend, save, invest, that sort of thing. You'll be thanking me in 10, 20 years time. But no, they need to spend. I've got to buy this thing. And I think that's all because of the lack of financial education. And so many people just don't know anything about health. Anyway, so yeah, channel. I've never heard of that. The Renaissance Periodization sounds interesting. Channel name. What do you think of the odds of AL3 going below 10 cents again? Ooh, let's have a look. Has it gone below 10 cents since you wrote that? Edit. No, it's getting close. Down to 12 cents. 10 cents is very important. I've mentioned this time and time again. I'm going to put a line right on 10 cents for this company. And you're going to see how important it is even for this company. So let's go back. There's 10 cents. So AML3D tried to get above 10 cents back in August 2023. Couldn't. In fact, it tried on 4 different occasions. It tried again. It hit 10 cents on the 20th of November, got through 10 cents on the 2nd of 24, and then pulled back. And then it just meandered around for a while. And then it hit 10 cents again on the 28th of June, again on the 1st of July, and then again on the 2nd of July before it just took off. 10 cents is a vitally important level. Not only do the increments change, you go from being going up or down 0.1 cents, below 10 cents, above 10 cents, it's increments of 0.5 cents. Not only that, it's a round number. And investors, traders love round numbers. There was a company, what was it? No, in fact, I'm going to show you Money Me. This is a great example. It's now above 10 cents. And I think there's a chance it's going to stay above 10 cents for at least a while. But you notice, if you look at the buyers, so there's 11 buyers for 560,000 shares at 10 cents, and there's one buyer at 9.9 cents. Same thing you'll see when the share price is below 10 cents. A lot of people would put their sell bids at 10 cents. So a lot of people putting their bids at 10 cents and 10.5 cents. I'd probably, if I really wanted to, I'd probably put my bid in at 10.5 cents. If I wanted to add to my position Money Me, which I'm looking at, but I want to see the share price pull back. Anyway, so 10 cents is vitally important. And I wouldn't discount AML3D getting back to 10 cents. And it could be a good buy. The one thing I've noticed, the volume is decreasing. So share price decreasing on decreasing volume is not a bad thing, but you don't want to see the share price fall below 10 cents on pretty big volume. That would be bad. Sort of like what we saw on the 3rd of July. Share price rallied above 10 cents on pretty big volume. Anyway, so chances of the company falling below 10 cents, I'd say it's possible. It's not an absolute. But again, this is more of a story stock. It's less of a story stock than what you might think. I did a video on this company, and I was actually surprised about how much cash flow or receipts they were producing. So if you go back to their quarterly cash flow report for the June quarter, let's have a look. I can't remember this one, but yeah, $1.6 million in receipts. And I think if they can start to increase that, the company is not burning through much cash. So this is an interesting one. I don't mind this company, but they'll also highlighted, or not highlighted, they also pay Next investors. And that's why the share price rallied, because Next investors sort of promoted the company. And I'm pretty sure AML3D does pay for that promotion based off what I've read. Okay, so thank you. Going below 10 cents again. I'd say if I had to give a percentage, I'd say 30 to 50%. Although time frame, I don't know. I was going to say almost 100% if you're looking at long term. I don't know. That's a difficult one. James D died in 1955 again. APA is down to 790, same price as 2015. Free cash flow, financial year 23 cash flow is 90 cents. Dividend this year is 56 cents, 7% yield. No franking thoughts. Okay, yeah, I have been looking at this one, and I think there is a chance. This is more of a yield play. What I mean by yield play is when interest rates rise, share price of this company should drop. When interest rates are dropping, the share price of this company should rise. It makes sense because this is an infrastructure company, and when there's less risk in bonds, you probably should be paying for bonds or buying bonds. But when interest rates drop, the appetite for bonds should decrease because less yield. And then this should benefit because this yield for this company should stay pretty high. And so it should be more attractive than bonds. So once bond starts dropping, you would think the share price of this company should start rising. And in fact, if you have a look at the weekly chart for this, you notice when bond or interest rates started to decrease, the share price of this company started to decrease, sort of. I've got two lines here. This is sort of like an area where this company is attractive. That's between $8 and $7.50. And ever since 2016, share price, or whenever the share price gets into that zone, a nice buying for this company. So James D died in 1955, I believe he's right. So I am following this company a little bit more closely as a potential yield play. But not only that, I would say you could get a nice little capital return out of this company too. Wouldn't be surprised to see the share price go up 50% from here. That's not too outrageous. So $12 would be over 50% from here. It's not outrageous. It got up to $12 not that long ago, 2022, before interest rates started to rise. I would say that's a possibility. So you get a nice 50% capital return over how many years? I'm not sure. And you also get a nice dividend yield. So I definitely think this company could be one of those plays, maybe a 2 or 3 year play where you get a nice dividend plus a nice capital return. So thank you, James Dean, died in 1955, for sharing that idea with us. Martin Pleasant, so awesome you were running. A few years ago, I ran 10K. That was about an hour 15. Also slow, so I get you. And you're absolutely right. Get the miles into your legs. It's good for them. Yes. So I'm now running almost every day. Some of my runs are like 2Ks, 3Ks, but that's okay. Now I will have, more than likely, won't run tomorrow morning, but then on Monday morning, because I do a night shift, an overtime night shift on Sunday night. And after my night shift, I will go for a 14K slow run. Getting, maybe not 14Ks, maybe 12Ks, but getting the distance in my legs, getting my legs back to used to running. That's the most important thing. My legs are not, about 5 months where they didn't run at all, so they have to get used to running again. But fortunately, they know they can adapt pretty quickly. So I don't care about running fast. It's all about putting the miles in the legs or the kilometers in the legs. This video is not, this channel is not about running. Jasonnimmo says 0% interest rates became an arbitrage bet. Borrow money in Japan, put it in bonds, Nvidia, etc. Bonds stocks go down. Japan lists interest rates due to yen losing value. Leads to these people in a world of trouble. Some may not be able to repay the banks. Japan is in serious trouble. Japan, I wouldn't say it's in serious trouble, but Japan has lots of problems. And one of the problems is the population. Japan, let's just Google it. Japan population problem. So if this trend continues, Japan's population is projected to climb to 63 million in 2100, so halving from now. Behind the trend lies Japan's declining birth rate, which is common throughout most countries in the world now, except African countries. So yeah, it's a problem. Japan's population crisis was years in the making. Plus, they're very resistant to immigration. Just their shrinking and aging population. It's just their culture. I lived and worked in Japan for 9 months. I know their culture, not well, but I do know their culture. It's definitely a problem, and it's why, in my opinion, automation and AI is really important, because the world will see shrinking populations from very soon, if not already. It's just Africa. In fact, if you look at birth rates throughout the world, I do remember a map. Is it this one? It could be this one. Fertility rate. This is from our World in Data. Where is that? Where's that map? Oh, in fact, we're at 2.3 births right now, down from 5 back in 1960, and I'd say it's still dropping. This is the one I was like. So this shows you. Oh, how is this map? Cumulative share of the world population. Oh, 2005 and 10. So, yeah. And you can see, okay, I can see what's happening here. They got years here. So 1950 to 55. So most of the world had fertility rates above 2.1. 1975 to 80, still most of the world, but Japan and USA started to fall below 2.1. And now 50% of the world has fertility rates below 2.1. And I'd say, it says here, the global replacement fertility rate 2.3 in 2015. I would say that's even down now. Yeah, it's chopping, 4.97% in 9. And you can see all these high, birth rates countries are Nigeria, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, India, Indonesia, USA. And most of these countries, particularly in Africa, will eventually get more educated. And there is a link between the education level of women and birth rates. It's not a bad thing. And again, it is the importance of, very important. Which one? Was it this one? This one, I think. Yeah, it's close to this one. Yeah. You can see Africa. Some parts of, suppose, what do you call that? Asia. But most of the world see this blue color. That's below 2. And you can see China has just fallen significantly. India, right on. And eventually these dark red colors are eventually going to decline as well. As the education levels increase, health increases, eventually it's going to happen. And eventually we're going to see blue everywhere. It's one reason why automation, AI is important. It's also the reason why a lot of companies and also a lot of governments are very cognizant of increasing the human lifespan. And I think there is possibilities that some of us will be eventually working until we're 80 or 90 because we're able to, because we will receive these drugs that will extend our lives. I think that's almost definitely going to happen within the next 20 or so years. It's also why financial education is very important. So you don't want to work to 80 or 90. Anyway. Thank you, Jasonnimmo. Forest Hill says, I called in yesterday's video. I'm keen to see which stocks become a really good value buy next week. Hope you found some, because that little dip didn't last very long, did it? In fact, if you have a look at the XGO, we're not quite back up to the levels we were. Well, that's the weekly. Oh, we are very close, aren't we? So we went down the elevator, up the stairs. 2 big down days and many up days, but those up days are smaller. So again, fear is much more powerful than greed. And we're seeing that right now. So you do have time. Gyms haven't changed much. Yoga pants are the loincloth of the 21st century. Still haven't caught on for men, though, thankfully. I think that was in relation to why gyms are called gymnasiums, because they had something to do with, was it the Greeks or the Romans would go to the gymnasium nude. They would just work out in the nude. That was a thing. Yeah, I learned that somehow. I forget where, but I did learn that. What is your opinion on Playside Studios? They just released their results the other day. I thought they were pretty good. Playside Studios. Their share price down 9.23%. Now, I'm going to show you, I forget which one. It probably is in the presentation. So on the surface, the numbers look pretty good, but you need context when it comes to Playside Studios. So the company's results, where are we? Here we go. Oh, no, actually, this is the one that shows you. So they have the financial year 23 to financial year 24. Really good growth. So this company had EBIT of 11.6 million, profit of 11.3 million, net cash of 37.1 million. I don't really care about the headcount. Headcount is irrelevant for me. I don't care about how many people are employed. Just keep that out. Okay. But here's the thing. They also divided the year into halves. And by far, the first half of the year was much better than the second half. In fact, the second half of the year, they only had EBIT of 2 million, NPAT of 2.3 million. In fact, cash fell. EBITDA of 5.3 million and revenue of 28.5 million. Now, they did mention that. In fact, they say here, first half skewed as flagged. And my probably biggest problem with Playside Studios is going to be this very thing moving forward. There's going to be some halves, some years are going to be better than other halves in other years, and the market won't like that. So this company doesn't have as much recurring revenue as probably what you would like to smooth out the lumpiness. But as a shareholder, you're going to have to deal with that. I would expect this company to grow significantly over the next 5 years, but it may not, because they do have, pretty sure they're, if you look at, I'm pretty sure they do divide, because they have like working for hire, and they also have the other one. So working for hire and original IP. And they did, I think it's like 50-50. Yeah. So at this point in time, what I'm thinking, and the reason behind the share price dipping over the past 6 months is because the market went, oh, you're going to have worse numbers in the second half than the first half. The market's not going to like it, so I'm going to sell. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why the share price has dropped, because the market just thought, well, the share price is going to fall because it's going to be a weaker second half. So I'm going to sell my shares. And because of the increase in selling enthusiasm of the sellers, the share price has dropped. Now, if they flag that financial year 25 is going to be really good, I'm not sure if they did give any guidance. I haven't gone through this, by the way, in depth. Financial year 25 guidance to be Friday at the AGM. So if there is a feeling that financial year 25 is going to be quite good for this company, I think you will see the share price recover. So that is, I was wondering why the share price was dropping, but that is my opinion. It could be wrong why the share price has dropped. So I do think there could be value in the company right now. But again, you have to deal with that lumpiness and with revenue and profit and that sort of thing. And also you're going to have to deal with the share price being a little bit more volatile than otherwise. Penny Stockton, while the ASX is having a mixed day, it will be interesting to hear your thoughts on Actinogen Medical, which has been making significant strides with its Alzheimer's treatment. Jasonnimmo, or could you consider featuring an upcoming video? I think it has potential that's worth a deeper look. Thanks. Is this one of those? Is this the company that dropped a lot in share price the other day? The 12th of August? Yeah. Okay. Share price has dropped from 7.6 cents to 2.4 cents. I'm going to have to say this is one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of these type of companies, because one little bit of bad news and the share price can drop 60, 50, 60, 70%. So even though it seems like they're making significant strides with their Alzheimer's treatment, Jasonnimmo, was this in regards to Jasonnimmo? 12th of August? I just remember, if I remember correctly, Zanacid. I just remember the results, if they weren't compared to the placebo, looked really good. But the placebo actually performed just as well as their drug, which means a lot of people who received their placebo thought, oh, they were getting the real thing. Oh, I'm feeling much better. I'm pretty sure this had to do with depression. Yeah, depression, not Alzheimer's. Yeah. So the market didn't like that, and that's why the share price has dropped a lot. So this is my biggest problem with these type of companies. You just don't know. They may seem like they have a lot of promise, but look what's happened when the promise is not realized. I think I did talk about Actinogen when the share price did decrease, and the share price now at a fairly, well, not that long ago, share price was at these levels back in January. So you can see there's a lot of enthusiasm around this company before this release of these results, or these whatever it's called, trial results. I don't know what you call them. Yeah, trial results on the 12th of August. A lot of enthusiasm around this company, and this is what happens. So a lot of risk, but there is a bit of a reward if those results were pretty good. You probably would have seen the share price take off. I wouldn't call it absolutely a binary company, but again, there's no revenue, no receipts. So it's a story stock. So I'm not the biggest fan of story stocks, but it is a story. And the other thing is, it may have potential, but are they going to realize that potential? Thank you, Penny Stockton. Roger says he's unwilling to hold Aristocrat. Well, that's to you. That's up to you. We're all different. I have no problem with that. I'm not a gambling person. I don't like gambling, but Aristocrat, I have no problem. I'm wondering if a lot of people who are unwilling to hold Aristocrat, whether they play the lotto. It's the same sort of thing, isn't it? I don't play the lotto, don't do gambling. It's not my sort of thing. But when it comes to ESG, I don't look at ESG when it comes to my investments, unless they're evil, unless they kill people on purpose. I probably would say, or no, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say animals on purpose, but there's actually a few companies that do kill animals. Yeah. Adrian Seren says, great content as always. I was fearing this drop would come, hence why I sold down portions of my portfolio. I'm hoping post-US election, depending on the result, there will be more opportunities. Well, yes, the recovery has happened quite quickly, hasn't it? Not sure what's going to happen with the US election. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the next few months. I have just no idea. If we get some weak economic news out of the United States, that could see the market drop. So I've already talked about that as well. So thank you, Adrian Sarah. JZXVK641. Thoughts on buying gold or ASX gold? Is that an ETF? I'm assuming that's an ETF. Gold. Global X physical gold. Okay. Let's have a look at the chart. Assuming the gold chart, where is it? Is that it here? That's not. Is that it? Gold. That must. Yeah, that's it. I don't know why it says all these other things there. I would assume that the gold ETF follows the gold physical price fairly well. So if you are bullish on gold, yes, what you could do is just chart it. Just use technical analysis. And if you use technical analysis, if this is the right chart, I'm going to see if it is. Yeah, 34.22. If this is, if you're just using technical analysis, this is a beautiful looking chart for gold. In fact, it broke out back in October 2022 at $24. So it all depends on your preference. Do you like individual companies? Can you pick the individual companies that might perform better than the gold ETF? But any ETF is safer than individual companies because you're getting broad exposure. I'm not an ETF man, but sure, if you want to go down this route, if you're bullish on gold, I'd say this is the way to play it. And you only have one position, and all you have to do is just trade it. So when you start to see weakness in gold, you will see weakness in this particular chart, and then you take your profits and go find the next thing. Long-term hold, I don't know. I would never own any sort of commodity for the long term. You just don't know what's going to happen in the future. Nice. CEO was maybe playing Minecraft. Oh, that's the Highcom. Yeah, they got rid of that CEO pretty quickly. Dave Race, I like an EV. Be old when others fearful. Perabears are a bit hard to fathom. The sky is falling is funny, really. If the stock you own has cash, not much debt in the future, what's the problem? Absolutely. I'm wondering if Stephen Van Metre, he just releases a bearish video every single day. I wonder what latest videos he is getting. Stephen Van Metre. This is my favorite Bear. I also like Jeremy Grantham. Any video I see that he is in, I will look at. So here's the videos of Stephen Van Meters. Trigger's been pulled. Here's why you need to get out now. He's been saying that for probably 5 years. A major country is about to do the unthinkable. What happens next is something or other. What happens next is shocking. Target declares emergency. You won't believe what they just did. They fake the data and the real numbers will shock you. Imminent black swan event. Well, if you're calling a black swan event, it's not a black swan event because you're calling it. A black swan event is something that just comes out of nowhere and no one's forecasting it. So imminent black swan event is threatening to trigger global chaos. Yeah. So his videos are just full of this hell is coming. I just love it because he's a complete opposite of what I am like. I'm like a perma bull. But I will become bearish on occasion. Because to be honest with you, he's going to be wrong most of the time, and I'll be right most of the. Or put it this way: the perma bears will be wrong most of the time. The perma bulls will be right most of the time. He'll be right on occasion. We'll be right, or we'll be wrong on occasion. But over time, the perma bulls will outperform perma bears. They will do much better in their predictions. So I just like to watch their videos just to get a different perspective. So thank you, David Race. Stu Percy, I sold down yesterday. Helps my mental health to have some cash to buy some good quality companies if the market tanks. For some reason, I always have cash on the side just for opportunities. I like opportunities. They always pop up. I am never, ever going to be fully bought in because what happens if you have no cash and then you see an opportunity just pop up? You go, well, I've got to sell something. I actually did hear that. I have always wondered this because what's his name? Scott Phillips is fully invested. And then he mentioned during the COVID-19 financial panic that he bought some shares. I was like, well, how do you buy some shares if you're fully invested? Well, I think he just had some money because of his job, that sort of thing. But I heard another podcaster say, well, they're mostly full invested, but when the market tanks, what they do is they go through their portfolio, they look at the stuff they should sell during those down times, and they sell out those positions, even though they might be a loss. And that's when they buy the higher quality stuff. So they sell out their crap, buy the better companies. And I thought that's actually pretty good philosophy. Yeah. So I could actually see that. And that's what I did on the 5th of August or around that time. I sold out of some of my crappier positions, and I bought some better positions later. Yeah. A couple of other podcasts Philip listens to that he didn't mention: Intelligent Investor Stock Take, Equity Makes, but not a podcast, but YouTube is Coffee Microcaps. So I think I listened to some of these. Yeah, Equity Makes, I used to listen to that a lot, but not anymore. One of the reasons why I just don't like some of their videos, and one of the videos was like a buy, sell, hold. I just don't like the person who does that. Just too many jokes. I like my investing podcast to be serious, not as many jokes. Maybe one joke per episode, but his was constant joking in that buy, sell, hold videos, and yeah, not for me. The one where he drinks, he has drinking or something. Anyway. Video Associates. So thank you, Philip, for giving me some insights there. Intelligent Investor Stock Take. I don't know that one, but Coffee Microcaps is ringing a bell. Video Associates says, when it picks up on the tail end of the day, it can signal a good day the next day. It can. Not always, but it can. Yeah. And I noticed this during the COVID-19 financial panic. Sometimes the Australian market would rally. And the reason the Australian market would rally late in the day is because the American futures were looking pretty good. And then the next day, the American futures would look pretty bad, and we would actually go backwards. I do think the Australian market is quite savvy, and they will look at the American futures. Climaru. Infratil has been good to me for the last few years. I think the announcement, not having an effect on the share price, was due to how diversified the company is. I was going to have a closer look at Infratil, and one of the things I did have a notice when I did have a very quick look at the company was how diversified the company is. So I actually have to agree with that. James Dean died in 1955. APE and PWR are getting cheap. Transurban, look at the FFO per share. Okay, APE and PWR, I'm going to look at the charts of all three of these companies, nothing else. APE, which is Eagles Automotive, they did release their results. Share price was quite volatile on that day, up, but then down. Chart does not look good. I think there could be value. Like, this is one of the companies where, even though chart might look horrible, if I see some value, I would be interested because I do think over time the share price of this company would rise. And right now, the share price is depressed. And you can see over the long term, the share price of Eagles Automotive, there is a bit of volatility in it, but over time it does rise. So when the share price gets to a level where I see value, I wouldn't be hesitant in taking a position in this company. Dividend yield is okay, but yeah, I'm not there quite yet with Eagles Automotive. PWR, okay, this is a difficult one. Do you mean Peter Warren Automotive, or do you mean PWH? I'm assuming you mean Peter Warren Automotive, because Eagles Automotive and Peter Warren Automotive, and the chart for this company looks, well, it's not that long because this company listed back in 2021 and the share price has been a downtrend ever since. I would assume, without even knowing anything about this company, except probably they sell cars, is a dividend yield higher than Eagers, is that just like Eagers, there could be some value in this company right now. Transurban, look at funds from operation. That's something I should know. Funds from operation at Transurban. The one thing, I looked at this chart last night and I went, ooh, short term, this chart does look interesting. Maybe moving into a bit of an uptrend for Transurban. So that's the one thing I took away from Transurban when I looked at this company yesterday. They did release their results, I believe, but James Dean died in 1955, says, look at funds from operation, which I don't really, anyway. So thank you, James Dean. Stu Percy, big tip. Do not trust anyone who says they know what the future holds, and definitely don't give them any money. I got another tip. If someone has built a time machine and they come back and tell you what the future holds, should you trust them? It's a big question. I'd say no. No way. Yeah, the future is unknowable. We just don't know the future. we can surmise and best guess based off probability. So, for instance, the sun will come up tomorrow, but I'm not certain. Who knows? There could be an alien race who puts a big Dyson thing in front of it, and we just lose the sun for a while. Who knows? Maybe there's advanced civilizations out there who can steal stars. Who knows? What's that called? Dyson sphere. Pretty sure it's called a Dyson sphere. Dyson sphere. Dyson sphere is a hypothetical megastructure that encompasses a star and captures a large percentage of its solar output. I'm pretty sure astronomers are looking for possible Dyson spheres. This is, if we do see one, this would be an indication that there is an advanced civilization out there, and you're getting all the energy from a sun or a star. Anyway, so who knows? I mean, I joke in the morning when I see the sunrise or see it starting to get light, my fears are calmed, because my biggest fear is that the sun won't rise tomorrow morning. The sun is stolen by an advanced civilization. And just think, if we don't have the sun, what's going to happen? I wouldn't go to work. We are going to die fairly quickly. So I actually do believe that we should, as a planet, as a species, be more thankful to the sun. I mean, the old people, old civilizations used to worship the sun, and that's understandable because the sun gives us everything. The sun gives us life. In fact, we are made of stars ourselves. All the elements are created from stars, old stars. Anyway, gold created from old stars. Uranium, old stars. Probably, I don't know. I'm not a big astronomer, but I'm pretty sure those bigger or higher elements, denser elements, are created from maybe supernovas. I could be wrong. Supernovas, gold, uranium. Could be completely wrong. Only massive stars can make heavy elements like gold, silver, and uranium. When explosive supernovas happen, stars distribute both stored up and newly created. So I could be a little bit wrong. Does a supernova produce gold? Does supernova produce uranium? Uranium was apparently formed in supernova about 6.6 billion years ago. Yeah, again, I'm not an expert in that area, but sometimes I do remember little stuff. It's really weird what you remember sometimes and what you forget. Really weird. Some just memories I have when I was like 5 years old, just weird. I didn't learn that when I was 5 years old. I didn't know uranium and gold probably existed. Scott 1109RB says AMP price to book is about 0.8, which is so much better than most of the other banks these days. FPH is my pick, I reckon. Okay, let's have a look at AMP. I am trading both of these, by the way. So AMP, I felt a little bit dirty buying shares in this company, but share price hasn't really taken off. I'm still going to give this a little bit of time. I still think there's a little bit of negative sentiment in this company. The results were okay, I don't know. But FPH is an inspired pick. This is a case of me just buying a breakout without any financial news. There's me buying back in March at $24, and then the company just released a profit upgrade. So I am now up 33% in Fisher & Paykel. AMP, I'm a little bit dirty about holding. AMP, but Fisher & Paykel, no problems. Good pick, Scott. Good pick. Martinelton. Payments for intangible assets, TCL, can only assume its capex related to purchase of intangibles. Yeah, that's one thing I remember talking about that. TCL will amortize later on against the future profit they have potential to generate. No idea in this context, maybe rights over land to build roads or investment in a system to collect tolls, something similar, accounted, not accounted. Join your contact, love the way you think out loud. Have a question for your technical videos. I'm gonna skip past the payments for intangible assets. Goes over my head. I'm not an accountant. Even Transurban goes over my head, the way they deal with accounting. So let's have a look at your question. Have a question for your technical video. Have you dabbled in the application of Fibonacci numbers, ratios in the market? I've learned a little bit about Elliott Wave, which relies on these ratios. Often feel like I'm looking for movements to fit the pattern, not patterns to inform the movements. would love you to take us on your journey of thoughts in that same style in a future video. Okay, so I do know about Fibonacci numbers. I do know about Elliott wave. I want to keep it as simple as possible. And these are two things I am not an expert on just now, but I do think, I would say that future, I will learn about both of these because Fibonacci numbers come up in nature everywhere. I think I talked about this not that long ago. Fibonacci just comes up everywhere. So why not investing? Yeah. And I do know quite a few people who simply believe Fibonacci numbers is the way to go when it comes to technical analysis. Elliott waves, I have heard a lot of people talking about Elliott waves, and that's something I don't know much about at all, but it's definitely something I want to talk about. I won't look at, in fact, I was going to just Google Elliott waves. I'll look at an image because yeah, this is the image I was thinking of. Yeah. So this is your Elliott wave. So I'm not. You see very similar things in other sort of technical analysis books where. So you have the phases of the. All companies go through phases, or the charts share price goes through phases. So you have the basing. I wonder if they don't probably have this here. So this is what I'm used to, basing. Then you get the share price going into an uptrend, and then at the top, the share price goes sideways. I don't know what you call that, top of it, and then the share price goes down. All companies show, well, maybe not all companies, but you see very similar patterns in charts for many companies over time. So we're talking about 100 years, 150 years. And Elliott waves probably show the same thing. So within that consolidation period and that uptrend moving sideways at the top and then going down, you have waves within that. I think that's what Elliott waves are. And just by this, there's quite a few waves. Yeah, so, but I'm not an expert. I haven't, in fact, read anything about Elliott waves, but there's one thing I do want to learn about during my technical analysis learning period, which is ongoing. Will always be ongoing, I think. Thank you, Martin. Chris Bound says, I think you would have to consider KMD Brands, that it seems to be very much undervalued at 36 cents, market cap around 250 million, and Rip Curl alone was valued at recently at 300 million. Then there's Kathmandu and Oboz. I probably would not disagree with that. I do think there is potential value with KMD Brands. You're talking about 36 cents, and the share price has popped up. Share price has really popped up since then, up to 49.5 cents. This is starting to look a little bit more interesting. The only problem I do have is the lack of volume as the share price has taken off in the last 2 weeks. But definitely you can see a massive increase in volume just before the share price got to its low. That's a good sign. So I'd say this is a little bit of capitulation and then some value investors seeing some value. So the share price did get to a low of 32 cents, back on actually 31.5 cents on the 27th of June. If you bought on that day, you're up over 50% since then. There you go. And again, this is another case of, is there value in KMD Brands? And I think there is probably some credence to say that Rip Curl alone recently valued at $300 million. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of negative sentiment in KMD Brands, and that really drove the share price down to where it was possible good value. SKHR, what are your thoughts on Zip's chart? Will it zip back up to $2? My question is, will Zip ever make a decent profit? Two good questions. Well, Zip is already over $2, so I'm late on that, but the chart looks really good. Now, Zip is an instance where the chart looks really good. Now, above $2, there's me taking a trade at $1.75. Yeah, and I will continue to hold this trade for a while yet because the chart looks pretty good. Valuation, almost $3 billion. Will the company make a profit? Now, here's the thing. I made a mistake with Zip because I had a look at their, where was it? Was it their pennies for C? They mentioned EBITDA. No, it wasn't this one. It could have been, it was some sort of outlook. Where was it? Anyway, I thought they were talking about EBITDA with the I. So EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxation, depreciation, amortization. I thought, oh, leaving out interest is a no-no because interest is a significant payment for this company. But they're actually talking about EBITDA without the I. So earnings before taxation, depreciation, amortization. So they were including interest, and that's a good thing. So when I actually went back and had a look there at the financial state of this company, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And the company is moving in the right direction. Will they be profitable? They could be profitable soon. I don't know. But the chart looks good. The chart does look pretty good. That's a beautiful looking chart for Zip. Will it ever make a decent profit? Well, you say decent profit. What's a decent profit? A market cap of 3 billion? Well, so if they have a market cap of 3 billion, say P/E ratio of 20, means they need a profit of 150 million. Ooh, is that decent? If they had a profit of 150 million, that's probably decent. Question is, can they get there? ICT 18593 says, hey, if we recharge something, we get money, right? Is this really legit? If we recharge something, well, Costa Group is no longer on the ASX, so I'm going to go past that particular comment. They've got out. They're gone. Appen will be bankrupt, says Juxi Hesi. It could. I don't think it has much debt. Let's have a look. So really, the only thing I'd be concerned about when it comes to Appen is debt. Does it have any debt? Because if they have debt, that's when they could become bankrupt if they can't service that debt. Or if they need a lot of cash. And so according to the last Appendix 4C, they have no debt. And they have a fair bit of cash. How much cash do they have? They have $34 million of cash. So they're a long way from becoming bankrupt right now. Not only that, the chart looks pretty good. So a fairly similar looking chart than Zip, although Zip's been going up for a lot longer. And Appen's chart just has turned around so quickly. The volume has been very impressive as well. I do think this is more of a plaything for day traders. Wouldn't be surprised if that's happening now, but yeah. Roger says, nah, stuff Patreon. Okay. Not against that. Ooh, I'm all up to August 10, so I have gone through about 10 days, so this is good. Tom Zhongli is a famous American investor and strategist who is always pretty bullish on the markets. He's often on Bloomberg. This is really interesting because I had no idea who Tom Lee was. And ever since then, I've just seen Tom Zhongli everywhere. Everywhere. It's one of those things where first time you see a word, you see that word for all the time after that. Same thing with Tom Zhongli. I have seen him everywhere since someone pointed out who he was. He made his money in the 1990s by selling his company Snapple Beverages to Quaker Oats for $1.9 billion. There you go. Thank you, Shelley Dugmore. JGW, ATX Phase 2A, September 24, make news. I'm just going to have a look at ATX. ATX is Amplia Therapeutics. What about the chart? This company has popped up a few times. Chart looks pretty good, but again, this is probably a story stock. So be very wary about story stocks. What I like to do with story stocks is I like to see them confirm their, not confirm their potential, but be very close to realizing their potential. And that's when you can see the share price really take off. Very good example was Neuron Pharmaceuticals. They released positive phase 3 results in December 2021. Share price was $3. Share price of that company now is about $20. So you can make a fair bit of money when they start to realize their potential. You don't have to take the risk, in my opinion. You can wait. You can be patient. Big Boy Baby says, I don't think you should put much weight on DGL's business update released in March. The outlook for a rebound and a stronger revenue and profit performance in the current half more so reiterates the historical seasonality of the company, which was already mentioned in the first half results. I believe it was released in an attempt to appease frustrated shareholders. More recently, interviews with CEO, he said results should be in line with expectations, which means lower profit in financial year 23. Thanks for your insight, Big Boy Baby. But I have noticed a few other chemical companies in the world are actually doing okay. So I'm hopeful DGL is doing okay, and they also have more promising outlook for financial year 25. So that's my big hope, that the financial outlook is better than expected. That's what my hope is. Just beware of ASIC if you are Patreon. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Ruben. Yes, Ruben, I think he meant from Fundstrat. Yes. Talked about that in this last minute or so, 2 minutes. If you start a Patreon channel, I'll be among the first to join. I haven't really thought about Patreon. It was just someone mentioned it, so I'm not sure yet. Greetings. If it looks like there is some strength in, I'm only 12 days behind now. It looks like there is some strength in high interest rates being shown in LARC since the latest news and SPP opening. Ooh, I haven't looked at LARC Distillery for many months. LARC Distillery. Let's have a look at the chart for LARC. Oh, we're not there yet with LARC. Not there yet. Maybe the bottom has been reached. We've seen a bit of an increase in volume. There is potential the bottom has been reached, but I'm not there yet with this chart and LARC. They're going to have to prove to me just yet. So not sure what's happening with the company. So doing a capital raising looks like, but I did have a look at their most recent Appendix 4C. Not there yet with the Appendix 4C. Doing a capital raising. Successful completion of $6.5 million institutional placement. So all I can say with LARC is I'm not there just yet. I haven't been following it all that too closely the last probably 6 months to a year. But if they show me something, just one thing, I could turn my opinion around on this company. But I'm not there just yet. Matisti Yibo. You have some of you people have some really interesting names. And Matisti Yubo also says, oh, same thing. Ben Hutchinson says, the phrase you were looking for might be, stocks take the stairs up, but the elevator down. Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. I think I've mentioned that a couple of times since then. James talking about Andean silver again. He just loves that company, this James. Say something soothing. Beach waves. Oh, no, I won't say something. I will give you something soothing. Supposed to be a blizzard wind. I find that very soothing. I go to bed every single night listening to rain fall. Well, my preference is rain on an aluminum or aluminium roof. Not too strong. That was a great memory of me growing up. Rain falling on a roof, nothing greater than that. So I haven't found a similar sound, but what I go to bed now is rain falling in a forest. Oh, maybe that's why I go to sleep really easily, because it's such a soothing sound. I love the sound of wind. I'm the biggest fan of sound of waves breaking, because it can be, what's the word? I don't know. There can be a little bit of variance in there among the sound, but winds, it's very constant. It's like a white noise, constant sound. And rain falling, it can be constant too. Anyway. Thanks, mate, for taking the time to discuss AVG. I really appreciate insights and the thought points covered. No worries. No worries. I actually, AVG did release something yesterday, didn't they? Did they release results? I think they did. I had a very quick look and moved on to the next company. I am getting through these at a very quick rate. I've gone through about 11 days today. T. Bandara, what is your view on share price trajectory for Waratah Minerals and Amplia Therapeutics? So quite a few questions about Amplia Therapeutics. I have just got these recently. What do you currently hold in your small cap portfolio? And what's your average holding value across the small cap stocks? Thanks, buddy, for your daily gems. Okay, this will be my last question of the day. Sorry, Forest Hill. Oh, no, I'm going to talk about Forest Hill's question last. Okay, Waratah Minerals and Amplia. What is my thoughts? Again, these are story stocks. So I have no idea. So nice story right now, particularly this chart looks okay. Share price has really taken off, but it could fall back just as quickly. That's my problem with these companies. And probably, again, the most important thing is my conviction on these companies is quite low. And that doesn't mean your conviction, which might be quite high, Actually, I said that wrong. So my conviction is low, but that does not discount your conviction. If your conviction is high because you know more about this company than I would, you might be right. Your conviction may be more solid than my low conviction. And the reason is these are story stocks. I'm going to spend much less time looking at story stocks because they haven't proved anything to me just yet. I need a little bit of proof. So I'm much less of a risk taker now than I was maybe 10 years ago. And I more than likely would have maybe dabbled in some of these companies back then. But I'm looking for companies that have proved themselves, that are growing their revenue, growing their profit, growing their cash flow. Amplia is not there just yet. And I'm assuming Waratah Minerals is not there just yet. No, it's not. It's WTM. So both charts actually look pretty good. I like actually this chart better than Amplia because this has been going for a little bit longer. And we have seen a bit of a wave. So up and down, up and down, up and down. And each successive high has been higher than the previous one. Each low has been higher than the previous one. So actually, in fact, this chart looks pretty good. I'd like to see some bigger volume coming through to reinforce the uptrend in Waratah Minerals. So I don't think at this point in time, I would not be nervous about either of these companies. So what do I own in my small cap? So I can actually go through. I've got my small cap. So I have companies like EZZ Life Sciences, Frontier Digital Ventures, Findi, Highcom, Hillgrove Resources, IPG, which is IPD, no, IPD, yeah, IPD Group, Kogan, LGI, Neuropharmaceuticals, Playside, Prophecy, Cydev, Sequoia, Stealth Group, Step One, Visan, West African Resources, SWIP, Mayfield Group, Adrad, Sensen Technologies, Titomic, Clarity Pharmaceuticals, which is more of a story stock. Infinity, again, a bit more of a story stock, a very small holding in that company. Alexium, more of a story stock. Verbrec, WTL, which is WT Financials, and Hosol, and a few other companies I went past. Electro Optics, Email Payments, Inero, Brookside, and a very illiquidly traded company, AFT Pharmaceuticals. That's not all of them. I don't think I have all of my small caps in there. So over time, this small cap portfolio has done me fairly well. Most of these companies in this particular list are small cap companies that are growing. They have revenue. They are real businesses, and they have potential to grow significantly from here. I'm just going to have a look at my tech holdings. No, that's US tech holdings. I think there's a few other companies I have in my tech portfolio, but they're more, or probably should be in my small caps, maybe. Anyway, so what the one thing you'll notice among my small caps is there's not many story stocks, a few in there. Clarity Pharmaceuticals is more of a strategic position because I do have a pretty big stake in Telix Pharmaceuticals. Technology, I think, for Clarity could supersede Telix Pharmaceuticals technology. They're in the same sort of area. So that's sort of me hedging my Telix Pharmaceuticals position. And if I see Clarity Pharmaceuticals actually prove themselves, that could be my bigger position over Telix Pharmaceuticals. There's that one uranium mining explorer, Infinity. They have an exploring site in Newfoundland, I believe. I don't know why I hold that company. It's just bought some shares. That's my only mining exploring company. Hillgrove is now a copper producer. Alexium, they do have revenue. I just am really interested in their technology, particularly their technology when it comes to cooling as a runner. They have this technology when the warmer the fabric gets, the cooler it becomes. And as a runner, I just think of that and go, wow, I want this company to succeed. And that's probably the wrong reason to invest in a company, just because you want the technology to succeed, but I just want this company to succeed. There's one company I have not in this list, I just realized. I did not see Pointera there. There you go. Pointera. So that's another sort of story stock. And but I think it's not really, they do have revenue, and I do think that company is close to hitting that inflection point. Anyway, no, I'm going to end it there because I'm right on 1 hour and 30 minutes. So if you have any questions, any thoughts, just leave, what's your average holding value across the small cap stocks? I didn't mention that. Average holding. Gee, that's a hard one. Some of these, my holding in some of these companies is like less than $1,000. Some of my holdings in this company is as high as $10,000. IPD Group, I have a big holding in that company. Findy used to be about 15,000. Now it's down because I took some profits. EZZ Life Sciences is getting up there. Haven't taken profits in that company, and the share price has just rallied and rallied and rallied. Neuropharmaceuticals used to be like 15 to 20,000. I took profits in that company. So it just ranges from being fairly high when I have more confidence or when my conviction in that company is higher. Again, conviction matters. And when you do have high conviction in the company, I think the stress might be a little bit lower. Anyway, so my average holding, I don't know, it ranges from less than 1,000 to over 10,000. So there's probably not, I wouldn't know what the average is, to be honest. And I will talk about this last comment from Forest Hill, because I did take a position in WT Financial, by the way. And the ticker code of WT Financial is WTL. And I thought about this. Oh, we had an opportunity here. The ticker for WT Financial could have been WTF. Oh, what a lost opportunity. Absolutely right, Forest Hill. What a lost opportunity. I am so disappointed. And by the way, let's have a look at WTL. So this is a company that has, I don't think, much of a moat. Financial services company. I think it's financial advice services. I just like the value and also like the volume that's just popped up. It really started back in February, and as now we've seen another burst in volume in August. And just the valuation just looks interesting for me. So this is a case of my value side, my value investing side of me taking precedence over any technical analysis. So if I was just looking at this company, just looking at the chart, I'd probably say no. Ugh, no. It's just, value. I see some good value. I don't like the moat, don't like anything like that. I don't think they have a moat, but value. So this is a case of me just, I wouldn't say being torn, but me having two separate sort of, in fact, I have three separate investing philosophies, but one of my investing philosophies just getting over what's the word? Persuaded by another. No, how do I say it? One of my investing philosophies having much more say over the other one. And this is definitely true for WT Financial Group. Okay, that's it for this particular video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. I'm just really happy that I did get through quite a few comments today, up to 12th of August. So not that far behind right now. So if you do have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this particular video. And that's it. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.